Hey everybody, and welcome to this week's episode of the Steam Machine Podcast. My name is Dalton, and joining me as always is my good buddy.
Yo, what's up? I'm Willie. How's it going, man?
And this week we have lots of spooky talk for you and a Trails update to kind of give you an idea of where we're at in the game before we spend the next 3 weeks playing a couple other things and really diving into it. But before we get started, as always, I want to start the show off with giving a shout out to our wonderful Patreon people with an extra special shout out and what's up to Nate, Sir Cogsworth of the 7th of Juniper.
What's up, Nate?
Old Jeffy Lube, Jeff himself.
Thank you, Cthulhu.
Which, speaking of Jeff, you will all get to hear his lovely sultry tones next week on our Phasmophobia episode. He's going to be joining us as a guest, and I look forward to that. It's going to be a good time.
Yeah, we've played one session with him. It's been incredible.
Yeah, it's been fun so far. I look forward to playing some more this week. Shout out to Aries or Adam, and a special shout out to him because he just started his new podcast called Revival and Extinction, and I want to give a shout out to that. He released his first episode. I don't know if it's a teaser or if it's actually covering a game. I have not had a chance to listen to it yet because he sent it to me right before we came on here to record. But he's a good guy. Check it out. I think it's along the same lines as our show. But he when he messaged me and told me that we had inspired him to do this, he was like, "Don't worry, I'm gonna make sure to look and see what you guys are playing, so we don't ever cross. I don't want to take anything away from you guys." And I was like, "Wow, bro, don't even fucking worry about it, man. Like, it's all good. It's all good." And then our last shout out that I want to give is to DC Smokedown.
DC Smokedown, welcome to the game.
Yes, for sure. Thank you all. Thank you very much. I actually know DC Smokedown in real life, so it warms my heart to see his name on there.
Nice. Well, welcome to the game.
Dude, this week, I found out that a friend of mine that I have on Snapchat. Now, let me go ahead and say I don't know this person in person, but like we've been friends on Snapchat for a while. And she's a pretty good looking girl. Like, I'm always like, I'm not opposed to when she posts pictures of herself and things like that. The other day, she posted a thing about go add me on TikTok. So I was like, okay, I'll go check her TikTok out. Now, I don't want to cause any issues, so I'm not going to give away names or anything. But I go on her TikTok, and it says, dancer at blank club, former porn star name. Immediately, I'm like, is that so? Let me ask my old friend Google. Typed it in, looked her up, boom. There she is in all of her glory, getting pounded in various ways. And I was like, this is wonderful.
Ooh, neat.
It was very interesting. Like, because I've always wanted, like, you always have that thought to yourself, like, I wonder if anybody I know has ever done porn.
Yeah,
and
the thought always is there.
And then boom, I found somebody that I know that's done porn. I'm like, there you go. I can stop having that thought now because it finally happened to me. So it's like I can take that part of my brain and allocate it to other information as opposed to just hunting for somebody who's done porn.
Now you can just join me and like obsessively catalog Doom WODs for the rest of your life.
But this week, before we get into the Trail stuff, which is really just going to be an update because I had a busy week. I think Willie had a busy week. We didn't get to touch it too terribly much.
Yeah, I will be honest to our fellow Trails fans out there. We may have played about 3 weeks of Trails or 3 hours of Trails in the last 2 weeks. Yeah. I've done a lot of like running around and fighting enemies and stuff like that. But side questing, but not a lot of severe plot.
Yeah, but I do want to talk about some spooky stuff this week, and
hell yeah, and I'm equipped for that.
And I was going to say, I would like you to start off. I know you had some things written down about analog horror, which I've always been interested in. So, by all means, good sir, let's talk about some analog horror first.
We're just jumping right into this then. Okay, yeah, no problem. So, I believe it was on the episode about the Blair Witch Project that I mentioned that I was like into the idea of analog horror, which is it's a YouTube subgenre, well, subgenre at this point. But I think Local 58 is like the main analog horror channel that a lot of the analog horror people come from. But before we get to there, we should get to how that genre first emerged. So I want to kind of talk about YouTube original horror stories for a little while. And I think one of the more interesting channels that kind of became one of the early influencers in that space was a channel called Marble Hornets. And I think I've mentioned Marble Hornets before, but so before analog horror became its own full genre, it was a channel that it had some really obvious influences. Like the Marble Hornets show was influenced by like found footage horror movies, like the Blair Witch Project. It was also influenced by ARGs, especially like there was a group called 42 Entertainment that did a bunch of licensed ARGs that were based on various commercial properties, but they were kind of like weird, strange ways to like build up hype to those. So like there was one called I Love Bees that was based on Halo 2, but it was like, oh, you would not even know it was based on Halo unless you were like there the whole way through. And then there was also the one they did first called The Beast, which was based on the movie AI. And then they were also the same people that did Nine Inch Nails' Year Zero, which I think was one of the best ARGs I'd ever been a part of. Like, Year Zero was really cool. It was like this alternate, like, near future horror story where there was like, God, it is a little hard to explain it. And I think we get a little bit off track just trying to explain Year Zero, but it was really neat.
It's also one of my favorite songs by Ghost. Year
Nice.
Zero. It's good stuff.
And then, again, Marble Hornets also, they drew off of the Slender Man, which was a character that was an internet mythos character that came from the Something Awful forums originally. And they just kind of brought all these things together, because, like, this is also where they first jumped off. Their first trailhead thread was on the Something Awful forums, but they posted it kind of like it was an ARG, and the videos kind of combined these things, where they were, like, found footage videos where people were, like, walking through the forest and they see a spooky guy, and they're walking through the forest and they see a spooky guy. But then they'd have like interruptions from other uploaders on their channel, and it would be like more like coded mystery type questions, like more ARG like.
Yeah, I've seen stuff like that with like the girls. I don't remember her name, but it was like the girl that goes missing, and then all of a sudden her channel starts adding these cryptic ass videos about where she's at.
I know the one you're talking about. That's probably a way better point I should have used as a reference. I did not actually write this one up, but that's a really good one.
I can't remember the name of it. Go ahead. I can find it real quick, though, if you keep going.
Yep, okay. But, so I could continue just talking about Marble Hornets. Like, they basically did the same thing for a little while, where it was kind of spooky Slender Man video, followed by spooky code video, etc., etc.
Real quick.
What's Lonely Girl 15, right?
Ash blogs, or I'm sorry, Ash vlogs.
Oh, we're maybe thinking of a couple of
Yeah,
different ones then.
We might, because it was.
I would say Lonely Girl 15 was also kind of something similar in this vein.
No, yeah, I'm just looking through Nexpo's stuff, which we'll get to him later. But
oh yeah. But so so eventually, there was a lot of episodes of this show. This was a very long running show. It lasted for like literally 5 years or something on Twitter or on YouTube. And then there were other shows that were like very clear knockoffs of Marble Hornets. Like my favorite one was ML Anderson Zero, but there were a lot of other ones, and all of them kind of also dealt with like internet monster memes, like the Slender Man, and also
Jeff
like,
the Killer,
like the Rake. The Rake was a very popular one in a lot of those, but like most of them just kind of didn't know where to go with it. So there were like spooky videos shot into the thing, and then coded video with weird messages, but they didn't really know where to go with it, and it all kind of faded out for a while. And then like I think the next thing that really changed that genre was when Chris Straub brought up his Local 58 channel. Now, Local 58 is incredible. I love Local 58. That's the one that I think is really the actual grandfather of analog horror. So instead of being based on other people's internet stories, he has these original videos that are based on like an original mythology, but it's like it comes through these anomalous materials that are through purported broadcasts from this UHF TV channel from a small rural area. And like they're like errant broadcasts, things that were never supposed to be broadcast, things like that. And I think like the influences obviously seem to be like that one was based on like strange late night local broadcasts that actually happened,
Yeah.
and like, you know, syndicated before TV was syndicated, before TV was always networked, like public access TV, weird shit like that. And then like,
I remember
you know, effect
channels going dark and
Yep.
stuff too, like at a certain time.
exactly. Like that is one of the things, like the last broadcast before a channel goes dark at the end of the night, and that's like one of the huge things. That they do.
And then it's like they realized that they could fill that time with infomercials instead and make money. But like, yeah, before the day of the infomercial, back when that was like only on QVC, I feel like it. Yeah,
Oh, and even then, the after days, like those infomercial things become part of the analog horror series.
Oh, yeah, totally.
Because like people definitely lean into that.
but I feel like it was
like there was.
I think it was Food Network at a certain time would come on and be like, "See you tomorrow," and they would do a little like like motion effect thing and have their little video play, and then it'd cut to black and it'd be off till like I think 6 in the morning or something like that.
Yeah.
But sorry, yeah, it was just a
Like
memory.
well, no, just all those over the air channels would just shut down. Like Food Network more recently, but like over the air channels, they would broadcast until like 1:30 and be like, that's the end of the day. The late night show has gone off, and now it's over. And like, I don't know, that's like kind of a weird twilight hour, and it was neat. And then like one of the other influences was like the VHS artifacting you see on videotapes, especially you like see that in like the movie VHS.
Yeah.
But like tracking lines and notation on the screen for like where it's like play or pause or like SPELP, that kind of thing, and like the default video texture or video toaster editing a lot of sites had in those days. And then like it was also all that shit was combined with like emergency messages, like, you know, the message you would get in the middle of the night was like a fucking horrible storm would be going on, or maybe it was just a test. Maybe it was just 99% of the time it was just a test, and it almost let your guard
It's
down.
just a test, but don't look at the moon.
That, yeah, the moon one, that is one of theirs. So yeah.
Yeah.
And then there was like, it was also kind of inspired by that shit, but also like actual hijacking of those lower signal stations, things like the Max Headroom
Oh
incident.
my God,
where,
yeah.
like, I don't know if you're familiar with the Max
Yeah,
Headroom.
I am.
incident.
You can
Y'all-
go ahead and tell the people though.
So, Max Headroom was a popular TV show in the early 1980s. It was a character that was supposed to be like the first computer-generated actor or whatever, and he was like kind of a wacky guy, a little weird, totally hip 80s dude. So they did this. There was during a broadcast on WGN during an episode of Doctor Who that they were showing late at night, there was someone that just broke in with their own signal, pirate radio style, and they had like someone emulating the Max Headroom style, but the shit he was saying was just like wild and weird and all that. This is something that really happened.
Yeah.
This isn't like me being creepypasta. This is like legitimately like an intrusion that happened in a large television.
And it's
network.
unsolved.
Like, you can look up, yeah, to this day.
Yeah.
You can look up the Max Headroom incident. This is like not me just being like, oh, this is fun, creepy story. Like, this is something that actually happened. And then like this channel, the Local 58, they also drew from like government propaganda too. And oh god, dude, when they did the emergency alert things, like there are channels that do like there are YouTube channels that do like fake emergency alerts, like, and some of them are really good, but most of them are really goddamn terrible. It's like my personal rule for like internet horror is like you gotta leave a little bit in your pocket. You can't go all out,
Yeah.
right? I swear to God, there are people that do like the role play EAS, role play emergency alert system things that end in such a goofy where like there was one where it was like an apocalyptic hurricane or whatever, and at the end it was literally like, "Brow, brow. This is an emergency message from God." Like, come on, you can't do that. That's so dumb that it's just
From God.
literally.
It would have been better if it said from and then nothing.
They're just from an unknown source, and it was like all red and confusing.
Yeah.
But I don't know. People overplay their hand on internet horror, and that's kind of a big problem I have with it. And that's like one of the reasons I think Local 58 did a really good job. I think the 3 best episodes of Local 58, y'all can just stop listening to the show and look these episodes up. Local 58 episodes: Weather Service, Contingency, and Real Sleep. All of those episodes are just these really haunting shows that they don't overplay the hand. They don't get. They don't go too far with it, but they're really.
Is one of those the one with the little cartoon with the little dude who's walking through the graveyard?
No, I think I know what you're talking about.
That's the moon one again, but I thought that might have been Don't Sleep or whatever.
I think that is. I think I know the one you're talking about. That wasn't one of the ones I was
Okay, I was just checking. There's one about the moon too that's really scary. It freaked me the fuck out.
There's a little extended lore in all these channels for sure, but like these were all, I don't know. It's just worth watching them. I kind of don't want to explain everything about them because
oh yeah, they're definitely worth checking out yourself. Like, go into it without knowing what the outcome might be. You know what I'm saying? Like, so that way.
Yeah.
It's kind of like when you're trying to sell a video game to somebody. Like when I was trying to sell Persona 5 to people, they were like, "What's the story?" And I'm like, "Well, I don't really want to tell you much of the story. I want you to experience that for yourself. It's fucking fantastic. Like, it's worth your time." That's what I'm going to tell you, is that Local 58's worth your time. Yeah.
Yeah. But then there were a lot of other really cool channels that adopted stuff from Local 58. And so I've made some notes of a couple channels that I thought were definitely worth looking at. If you're a fan of Local 58 and you wanted to see more stuff that was like it, but in slightly different directions. So here are the channels I wrote down that I had definitely really enjoyed in the past. I think Gemini Home Entertainment is pretty much the most ambitious one that isn't Local 58. So in the context of its fiction, it is a videotape company that does educational and informative films. So it's like VHS tapes, like, you would rent them from the library and learn a little bit about the world. And so they have videotapes like Advanced Mining Vehicle or Our Solar System. Those are two of the video titles. Everything in them is really interlinked, and you should probably just watch them from the earliest to the newest video, because it does a really good job of bringing it back to forward in a really cool way. But like, it's the most ambitious. They literally did one where it was like upcoming video game whatever, and like video game shit that references like one of the things they did in the past. It looked like a PlayStation 1 game, and then they actually put out that video game. They literally have that as a downloadable PC game that looks like a PlayStation 1 game that references the things that they've done in the past. Like, it's wild.
That's pretty sweet.
And then other really good ones, I thought Eventide Media Center. It reminds me of Gemini a lot in the sense of scope. It's also very really cool in that sense. It's also very storyline based, but it's all about incidents that happen in one small town in New England. And I think that's also another one you want to visit from the back to the front. That one is really cool. Like, I really enjoyed that one a lot. And the other one I brought up is the Minerva Alliance. Which
I haven't heard that one.
So this one, like, the idea of the Minerva Alliance is it's more along the line. It brings back a little bit of that old ARG energy. Like, the things that they show you have, like, codes and mysteries and puzzles on them, and like intended to be solved by the people watching them. The idea is that it like has captured broadcasts that were supposed to have been shown and then were shut down by the government or by the FCC and all of that. But like, it's like forbidden video footage.
Okay, that's kind of cool. Like the stuff that would be redacted in SCP stuff.
Yeah, exactly. This is the stuff that this is the stuff they don't want you to see.
This is what the government doesn't want you to know about.
But then again, like, when you start watching it, you're like, "Ooh, should I have been watching this in the first place? Maybe I shouldn't have learned this." Like, I don't know. It's a cool kind
Cognito hazards are some of the best horror, in my opinion.
Oh,
the shit that's like, as soon as you know about this, there's no going back, and it's like, oh, yeah. That's fucking terrifying. So some of the stuff that I have written down are just some of my favorite spooky YouTubers. For different things, different levels, I'll try to explain the different ones. The first one I have written down is Nexpo, NEXPO. Nexpo is great for kind of explaining horror type stuff. Like, he has a video. That's how I know about Local 58. Was I watched Nexpo's video on Local 58, which made me look into that. Right. That's where I first heard about Ben Drowns, which is the Nintendo 64, the haunted Link's Awakening cartridge.
The Majora's Mask creepypasta.
Yeah.
He also Next Pro, and you've also brought the name Nightmind into yours,
Yep.
and both of those are very similar channels in my opinion. And both of those, they do a great job of just if there's an internet horror story that you've heard of, they like bring it all into one place in a really easily, heavily researched way that I think is really cool.
Like he's got an hour video called "What's Going On with Dad." And Dad on YouTube, if you've never watched those, is this very bizarre, almost like performance art little videos that this comedian does. But there's like some really sinister underlying shit going on that you have to try to figure out. It's an ARG basically, but it's fantastic. Yeah, Nexpo and Nightmind cover very similar stuff. I watched a Nexpo video today about there's a cult in a dead MMO called Worlds.com. Though he couldn't find any proof. Nexpo to me, like a lot of his videos, like they wrap up well. Some of them are like In Search of Sasquatch, where it's like at the end he's like, "Well, we found nothing." Yeah.
I would say if you end up liking Nexpo and Nightmind, I would also recommend looking up Justin Whang. That's Whang. He does a very similar job researching these internet stories from point A to point B, and they don't always have endings, so like don't expect to find out. But like missing safes on Reddit, that kind of thing, that's one of his specialities.
Yeah. This Room Does Not Exist is a wild one that oh man, my mind blank. Nightmind. That Nightmind covered. It was really, really good. He's done the videos on Dad as well. He's another really good one. He did one on I Am Sophie, and I'm telling you all these without super going into them because I'm still in the ARG area, and like these are things you really should experience for yourself without us giving away too many spoilers. So I'm hoping that you guys listening will take these and actually go look them up if they pique any interest for you.
Yeah, I was hoping some of the ones I brought up on the other channels would be like good things to begin investigating, but man, I don't even know what would good Next Pro places to start would be. I mean, they investigated some of the classic ARGs and things like that. I think like Next Pro Nightmare may have investigated like the Wyoming incident. I think they have summaries on like Marble Hornets and like other ones that are like half fictional. You know what I mean?
I don't want to confuse people. It's Next Po.
Next Po, sorry. I'm sorry.
But I would say like maybe his video on like I Am Sophie or no, I'm sorry, not I Am Sophie. That was Nightmind. Ash Vlogs. Like that was the one that got me into him. Another one of my spooky YouTubers that this guy is more like covers gore and like shock gore and stuff like that, and he doesn't ever show it, but he talks about it. So like I was always interested back in the day about like why the fuck people. So there was this website called heaven666.org. And it was another, like, your E-Bombs World, your Newgrounds. It had stuff like that on there. But there was a lot of gore. A lot of it. And I was always curious as to, like, why people were so interested in looking up, like, someone who's gotten their head blown off by an AK-47 and things like that. Well, Plagued Moth covers that type of stuff. And I listened to him talk about it. And the depravity, it's the depravity of other people that fascinates me. That humans can put other people through different types of things like that. So if you're into listening to someone tell you about a video where someone gets eviscerated with a chainsaw, and then kind of like where this video came around, if it's real, if it's been proven to be fake, kind of the details that he can find out about the people that were in it, that kind of thing it's really quite interesting stuff. And he reminds me of my buddy Wes, like. So it's like I have this weird thing where like he acts just like my buddy Wes when I'm watching him talk. It's kind of like I'm just watching a buddy of mine talk about some fucked up shit, which is something that I would do anyway. So he's really good. Plagued Moth. Charismatic fucker. But that leads me to like Wendigoon, which is Wendigoon. And he by no means needs any plug or anything. Like Wendigoon, when I first started watching him, had like 9,000 subscribers. And he did some iceberg videos. He did an iceberg about the conspiracy theories. Like he has a conspiracy theory iceberg series, and then he did the SCP iceberg, which is where I first heard about SCPs actually. And now he has
He's the person that introduced you to the SCP.
Yes.
Foundation, then.
So he went from having 9,000 when I first started watching him, that he now has 669,000.
Sorry, six what?
669,000. Nice.
Nice.
Level 69 pants. LOL.
Got him.
But Wendigoon's really good, really really good. He's a very charismatic dude. Everybody calls him Dad in the comments. They're like, Dad, I like that shirt you're wearing this week and everything. And he made it this one point in this one video he did. He's like, I'm really thankful that you guys all call me Dad and not Daddy, just because of the way people have ruined the word Daddy. Which made me laugh. But yeah, so if you like iceberg content, he's got a lot of stuff like that. He's also got other videos. Like I watched him do a explanation of Dante's Inferno and the Nine Hells and that kind of stuff. He did a video about the Mystery Flesh Pit National Park, which that is a wild story in itself. Is fucking crazy.
Yeah, long one.
Yeah, it's long. It's very, very long. The video that he did on it's about an hour, and it's fucked up, but it's really good. I like a lot of his stuff. He does have some like religious stuff, but he does not push that on people. You know what I mean? Like, I think he's a pastor, or at least like one of those type of people, but he always says in his videos, he's like, I'm not here to preach to you. Like, so anytime he talks about Bible stuff, he makes sure to be like, I'm not trying to force this down your throat. I'm just going to give you the information that I know about this. And I respect that.
Seems like a really cool perspective to have.
Yeah, I totally respect it. And then he does episodes where he'll explain things from the Bible, like this one, the death of David, and things like that, where he'll just talk about something from the Bible, which interests me because the Bible to me is an interesting story. People take it a little far. We don't need to get into that, but I think it's an interesting story.
Sure.
But yeah, really enjoy him. He's the one who introduced me to SCPs, which leads me over to the Volgun, which he spells it as one word. It's TheVolgn. I'm sorry, VOLGUN. The Volgun. And this dude does the work of God. Not literally, but he, like, I'm scrolling through all his videos right now. He covers SCPs. And, like, he'll be like, good afternoon, my name is Dr. Miller. And the SCP that we're covering this week is, let's say SCP 6096. Willie went to go take a piss. Will I remember to edit this out? Probably not, but that's okay. 'Cause Willie just had his dick in his hand taking a piss. He was taking a piss. He's taking a piss. He took a piss and now he feels better.
Oh, no,
he took a piss.
I actually thought that you were just going to keep on going, sorry.
No, you walked away and I paused and I hit my bowl and I just started singing to myself.
We're going to delete all that. Wait, how far back did we lose? We're talking about Volgun.
Yeah, we were on Volgun. So basically, like, he will pick an SCP and then cover that week. But, like, he does different voices. He does editing. So, like, if people are talking on a tape recorder, it actually sounds like they're talking on a fucking tape recorder. And he goes through, basically, when you go on scp.wiki, there are listings for each SCP, and they're listed out like containment procedures, experiences, logs, things like that. And he will actually go through and read it all to you. And then when it gets to the logs and stuff, he will play those like he's playing a tape back. And it is fan-fucking-tastic, dude. Like, his coverage of the SCP, anytime you tell me, like, oh yeah, go look up this SCP, I was looking at it, it was pretty cool. Before I even go to SCP Wiki, I head over to Volgun's YouTube and see if he's covered it. Because if so, I'm going to listen to him talk about it. Like, it's fantastic. I'm going to link all of these that I can remember in the website show notes.
We have a lot in show notes to link, but I'm sure we will get there because I trust in you.
Yeah. I'll remember it eventually. And then, like, another SCP one, like, the Volgun, he's just, you need to fucking check him out. It's really fucking good. And then the Exploring series is another one that covers SCP type stuff, and they get a little more deep into it, whereas the Volgun covers specific SCPs. The Exploring series will cover things like Dr. Wondertainment, what happened at Site 13, like that type of stuff.
So Tales.
Yeah.
Man, I'm a big fan of Dr. Wondertainment in general. Like, that's one of the most fun subplots on SCP to me.
Yeah, I like him a lot too. Exploring also has gone into like the Cthulhu mythos, Warhammer 40,000. Like, there's all kinds of stuff. So they just they dive deep into things, and I think SCPs is one of their bigger, higher drawing things that people come to watch. But very good, and that's what it's called, the Exploring series. is another one that's worth your time. I had a couple other ones, like Dylan the Night Owl. I won't go into him too much. He's got a couple icebergs that I liked. I think it was like the creepypasta iceberg, Backrooms iceberg, that kind of stuff. Which Backrooms I want to talk about more next week. But
there was a channel I would like to bring
Yeah,
up.
go ahead.
I think that I have it in my notes, but I don't know if I mentioned it earlier. But there's a show called Bedtime Stories,
No, you didn't mention that.
which I'm very fond of what they do lately. So Bedtime Stories, so a lot of the ones we've done have been like either original stories or like internet-based memes, those kind of things. Bedtime Stories is like combines like more modern. God, hold on. Trying to phrase it correctly. They take these urban legend stories that supposedly came out within the last like 50 to 100 years and all that, and they like present them in a neutral way and then kind of weigh the evidence towards the end. So like a lot of that like is really cool because it's like it brings up stuff like The Man from Torred. I don't know if you're familiar with that, but it was like this. Oh, The Man from Torred, such an interesting story. It was apparently a man showed up at a off of an airliner in Japan and brought them his passport and all that, and they were just like, "Hey, where are you from?" He's from Torred, which is not a real country that ever existed. And apparently he fully believed he was from a country called the Kingdom of Torred, which existed in approximately where Andorra does today, the small country between Spain and France. And like there's a lot of these weird tales that they tell of like people that fell a little between the cracks, a lot of famous like UFO stories and less famous UFO stories, and like I don't know, I've really enjoyed listening to a lot of what Bedtime Stories does recently, because like I don't know, they have this combination, like they don't get really skeptical with it, but they also don't get really credulous with it either. They like tell us about like where you could find a lot of the facts where some of these stories may have been mythologized from, but like there's a lot of weird stuff that they tell you about mysterious disappearances, cryptids, aliens, and all that. It has a nice like X-Files-y type vibe of different types of story.
That's what's up.
And the one thing I really enjoyed about Bedtime Stories is that they have like a unique artist who does these like huge sweeping these just black and white, like I don't know if they're watercolor, but they're kind of that style portraits of everything that happens. So you might be seeing something about these terrible disappearances that happen in Brazil. You might be seeing these things that are like strange, missives that happen from what, but like the illustration is really good. It just really nice.
I'll have to check that out. I haven't seen that, but I'll have to check it out.
Yeah, I'll send you a link to it. The name of the show is Bedtime Stories, and I don't know, it whips ass. Like the narrator is very good, the illustrator is very good, the audio is very good, and I think they do a really cool. Like if you're just in the mood for spooky stories, you don't want everyone to be like, "Well, this obviously didn't happen because of this," but you also don't want them to be like, "Well, clearly this means aliens are among." Like I feel like they do a nice neutral job there, and like I don't know, when you're in a good spooky mood, sometimes that's all you want.
Yeah, for sure. I only have a couple more to talk about, and then I got a palate cleanser before we talk about a little trails and get out of here. But like, this one was done by Adult Swim, of all things. It's called This House Has People in It.
Oh,
holy fuck! Is this thing confusing and also terrifying? Like, it starts off and there's just like these two parents and a baby, and they're sitting around in the kitchen, and their daughter's just laying face down on the floor. And
this one I believe is related to Too Many Cooks.
Yeah, I believe so. I believe it is. As she,
but it's less comedy, more.
Way more. What the fuck? Way more. As the video goes on, her parents are like screaming at her and stuff. She starts slowly sinking into the floor, like phasing through it, to the point that they end up like taking a bed downstairs and laying it underneath her, and the family's going fucking crazy. Like, without going into too much detail, I could tell you basically the end because it doesn't really affect anything. But like, just all of a sudden, everyone's dead. Like there were all these people that showed up outside. They were there for this birthday party, and they're just all dead. and it doesn't fucking explain a thing. You watch, it's like 12 minutes long. It's 11 minutes 54 seconds, and by the end of it, you are going to be seeking another video on YouTube. And might I recommend the one by Nightmind, of explaining this house has people in it. Because it's wild. It's an ARG. It's wild. There are like links that you can click on that'll take you to different places, and then there's links on there that'll take you other places with things you can watch, and it's fucking nuts. And then the one that I hold near and dear ever since I first watched it, it's one of the strangest things I've ever seen. It's a series. I love it to death. Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared is fucking
sure.
classic.
Dude, this is exactly the time of year people should be getting into Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared. That's...
And what's
thing.
weird is, like, you know, they did their thing years ago now. I think the first one was like 10 years ago. And they posted something 3 years ago called Wakey Wakey, and it was like a little teaser thing, and they haven't done anything since. So I wonder if maybe, I heard that maybe they were in talks of doing a TV show, but like, I don't know, it would have to be a streaming show, because I don't know what network would pick up that, because it's just so fucked up. It looks like a kid's show. For all intents and purposes, it looks like a kid's puppet show type thing.
Yeah, it's kind of like, imagine if Wonder shows it, except instead of if the joke was funny, the joke was, I'm going to fuck your entire shit up now with horror.
Yeah, because it goes from like, oh, well, there's a video right here that says they finished filming Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared, the major TV show update. I'm going to have to watch that later.
Well,
Each episode starts out like it would be a normal little kids show. Like there's going to be, like, the first one's about creativity. And she's like, you can use whatever color you want. Use a creative color. And the guy's like,
use a creative color? That's not a
and
creative
the guy's like,
color.
I like green. She's like, green is not a creative color. And just like little things like that. And then things start dying, and there's very violent and disturbing imagery, and it's just fucking wild. There's like 6 or 7 episodes in total. And actually, I think that like there's
weird,
8.
It's mysterious, it's wrong, and it's awesome.
There's 8 episodes in total. You need to watch them all in one sitting. It'll take about, I don't know, 30, 45 minutes to watch them all. Holy shit. It'll make you think. Like, you start thinking about what it's actually about, because there's a lot of meta commentary going on in it that you're not going to put together until you have watched the entire thing. So I really think that, like, you should check it out. Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared. Definitely worth. If you look up anything that I have personally mentioned tonight, look up Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared. It's really good. Which leads me to the palate cleanser. Good sir, have you ever heard of YouTube checkpoints?
Yes, I believe you mentioned the concept of YouTube checkpoint in a not too distant episode where you were like, you found a place where people were just like in the comments talking about like, you found a YouTube checkpoint, this is something completely different.
Yep.
But I don't remember how you got there, and you mentioned that you don't really know how you get there in the first
No, yeah,
place. This is like the reverse of a creepypasta, if I remember.
Basically, like, you can go on YouTube and type in YouTube checkpoint now, and you'll find a playlist of people who have found these videos and put them all into a playlist. But they are videos you cannot search for, because the title either has something that your keyboard won't do, because maybe like a Japanese keyboard has keys that our keys just can't do, or it'll just be named something very strange, and they only show up in your recommended videos on the side when you're watching through stuff on YouTube. And the first one I ever found was this Japanese titled one, and the video's no longer up. It got copyright striked by Nintendo, but somebody else has uploaded it in its place. The Sticker Bush Symphony. You know the song I'm talking about from Donkey Kong Country 2?
From Donkey Kong Country.
Donkey Kong Country 2. It's just this video with a nice, pretty little sky in the background with these vines going across the screen. And it plays Sticker Bush Symphony for an hour. Just on repeat. And it's supposed to be a calming, just a place to chill and check in. And, like, people comment. Like, here's a comment right here. Checkpoint. Taught my son how to play Magic the Gathering, a game I've adored since childhood and learned from my dad, but gave it up on my son's birth. Sold all my cards shortly after he came into this world, sadly. Skipped forward 11 years, and a few weeks ago, he wants me to teach him how to play Pokemon, but due to the shortages everywhere, I couldn't get him any, so he opted for Magic instead. Went to Target, got us a dual deck pack. I spent 4 hours teaching it to him, and he picked up well, and now we play every night. And, like, little things like that where it's like,
It's cute. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's friendly. It's a legitimate checkpoint of how people...
No one are being assholes. No one. I don't see any douchebag comments at all. Everyone's being nice to each other. It's
I believe if you like between checkpoints, you are a lesser human being. I'm a Sigma male, so
But just for you, real quick, I will DM you a example of one of these so you can see the title of it and stuff.
Sure.
And I'll post it in the show notes as well, so you guys can find yourself a checkpoint. But they're just like little sprite graphics and a little song
I mean,
plays.
I don't know what most of these words mean, but I see that it's something from Chrono Trigger, because literally I can see the words Kuro no Turiga. I don't read Japanese really well, but I read it just well enough to know it says Kuro no Toriga.
Oh, so yeah, there you go. But yeah, it's just another checkpoint that you can't find with an English keyboard.
I would never have been able to search that with an English keyboard. Yeah.
So I just thought that's cool, like that there's shit like that on the YouTube. It's just there that you can just find, and just in the sea of shit that YouTube can be, that there are these little like patches of purity is nice to see. That's all, in my opinion. So it's like, after you watch some Plagued Moth and fucking get yourself all scared up and shit, watching some Local 58, you can come chill out at a YouTube checkpoint. Just relax.
Man, you're gonna have to do so much work in post to try to figure out all the links I've tried to send earlier, like just me saying names of specific episodes.
Oh, I can look through your notes, man. It'll be fine. And if I don't link everything, whatever. I'll do my best. I look at the links on Tyler and Dave Play Old Game Stuff. Tadpog, shout out Tadpog, you guys rule. I look at the show notes that Dave puts together sometimes. There's some hefty amount of links in there when they're getting heavy on the media talk. I'm always impressed.
Yeah, true. I like most of the links I was talking about this episode. I really think are good things to look at. I mean, I would not recommend revisiting Marble Hornets today. I think it does not hold up whatsoever. But like the Local 58, the
Local 58 holds up for sure.
Episodes, yeah, everything in Local 58, everything from what was that one called? Gemini Home Entertainment, Eventide, and I think you'll find the links for Eventide and Minerva. I don't think I named specific.
There's another one that was I think it was like an ARG type video, but it was just a horror video type thing about this family, and it was from these different camera angles, and it was like the guy was obsessed with this character who was like Sonic but wasn't Sonic, and he would dress up and run around as him, but then wouldn't admit. It was very fucking weird. Oh, you know what? I'm sorry. That's also This House Has People in It, I believe. Never mind. I could be wrong about that though, but I feel like that's the same guy. Anyway, so Trails in the Sky. Like we said earlier, didn't get a lot of time to play this week. I do want to say that I've been just exploring and doing my bracer quests, and I'm really enjoying the character development.
Man, one of the things I think is really amusing in this is like all the characters make these little combat grunts and all of that, and it's like it cracks me up when like you'll tell a guy to eat like a sandwich or whatever, and they'll be like, "Chick," and then just eat a veggie sandwich. Like that cracks me up a lot.
Yeah, it's really fun. The building up between Josh and Estelle, seeing their characters, kind of getting the feel for how they act with one another, and then the introduction of Scheherazade, and then what's his name when you meet Oliver, or it might be Olivier. I'm not 100% sure. Olivier. He is absolutely hilarious too, and you meet him at the Haken Gate, which is between Roland and Bos, which is where I am at right now. I was in Bos doing side quests.
So I'm gonna say, like, when a video game gives you a character that's supposed to be like sexy dominatrix teacher, there's like a line you can go before you cross that line. Like Quistis Treep from Final Fantasy VIII is clearly meant to be sexy teacher with a whip. I don't think she exactly crossed that line, right? But
yeah,
then
not really.
This game has a character who has the sexy teacher trope.
Scheherazade.
And then she comes out with a whip. Yeah, Scheherazade. And then she has a move called Sadism Whip, where she brings her breasts strictly into the camera and goes, ho 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 ho, someone's been naughty, and starts giggling and whipping. I think somewhere in that part you've gone a little too far.
I disagree. I love it. In fact, if she'd have shook him a little bit too and hit her enemies with him, that'd have been sweet. No, I'm just kidding. But she's a great character. She cracks me up. Apparently she gets very.
No, she is actually really.
She gets
fun.
handsy when she's drunk. Apparently she likes to hug everyone.
It's kind of one of her character traits is that she's kind of known to be a little bit of someone who really likes to get liquored up but cannot handle it.
Yeah.
And I don't know, she's a fun character.
And
I feel like I've really come to enjoy and meet the characters a lot, and they're kind of written in this very early 2000s anime type way. Like, characters get really mad really easily, but are really talked down from it real easily too. And it kind of amuses me. Like, Estelle is like the main character. Estelle, your main player character. She's like really rash, but she's also like completely like chill as soon as someone explains anything to her.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, and her being 16 comes out in her for sure at times, which leads me to Joshua's not that way. Joshua's very unfeeling, so I'm curious how that's going to play out. I'm wondering if maybe he's like a child soldier type thing, so he was rescued by Cassius. That's my guess. I don't know that to be for certain though. And then
yeah, there's kind of an unspoken, but like, he was definitely not completely innocent when he was rescued. I think is kind of the implication that we got early on in the game. Like, he has a bit of a vengeance against Cassius Bright, who is the character that they both Estelle and Joshua call Dad.
Yeah, at least at first, because it's like he's grown to love him now. But that opening scene where they introduce Josh, he's very like, "What the hell did you save me for?" like type guy. So I'm very curious to see how that's going to play out over the next few weeks, and then.
Man, I like having Shirazad in the party too, though, because like my party was like level 8 at the time, and she came in level 12, and it's like, okay, obviously this is the kind of game where it's like we're all gonna be level 12 very soon, but it's like she's the established, person that's the young Bracer, but she's like a fully senior Bracer. She's powerful. She knows what's going on. She's recognizing the world and all that. My dudes are like level 8. They suck ass. But now everyone is level 13 in my group, and they do not have that same recognition. I don't know.
Yeah, it's fun to watch them grow. Me and you were talking about off air about like loving to get that new equipment upgrade in RPGs. It's like such a nice it's such a good feeling. Like, oh yeah, look at that green, look at those green arrows pointing up. Yes, give them to me.
It's like this is one of those games where equipment differences seem extremely huge.
Yeah.
Like, you get this little tiny bit. You just like get that little difference between the spike shoes and the regular shoes, and it seemed like it was so huge early on in the game. Like, I kept wanting to go back to the main city to buy spike shoes for Joshua because he was like getting hurt a little harder than everyone else. But now everyone has running shoes, or what are they called? Freaking, I wrote it down, but I already forgot it. Like the J running shoes.
Yeah, which I'm assuming just means Japanese. These are Japanese running shoes.
Dang. They got them Nike J's.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then I wrote that earlier that I said, oh, well, we're all going to be level 12 soon. And I looked at it again, and yeah, everyone's 13 now. So
I want to say my character's like level 13, 14, somewhere around in there. Shirazard might be pushing 15 at this point. I am in the Nepal Valley just trying to find this beast that's out there for one of my side quests. So that's where I'm at, and things hit hard. One thing I've learned about this game is like your characters hit hard and enemies hit fucking hard. So like,
yeah, you do not get a lot of hits worth of leeway.
No.
You need to heal between.
And this definitely is one of those games like Persona where you want to try to get as much done as possible before the enemy ever has a chance to attack. Like if you can kill one that knocks it out of that position to where it's going to give one of your other people another attack, then you might be able to sneak it into where like you can keep that going. It's fun. It's almost like a little puzzle in evolving with the games, but it's not tactical.
So should we tell them why we're in Bose? What happened exactly?
I believe we touched on that at the end of the last episode, but we might not have.
We didn't finish everything out. I was not quite there yet at the end of the story, so we found out that we had met the robbers who had brought down the gems.
Yeah.
And then we found them, and it turned out they're sky pirates.
Yeah.
And then what happens next is it turns out that they have apparently hijacked a large airliner, which is the one your dad left on at the beginning. Of the game. Pretty
and it's
brutal.
just disappeared.
So now we're chasing down.
Like,
so now we're following his trails through
the sky.
The sky.
Dun, dun,
Dun,
dun,
dun, dun, dun, dun, dun, dun, dun, dun.
That's just like when Oliver. I'm just gonna call him Oliver. Fuck it. When Oliver is handling the issue, when like there's things get heated between you guys and the general because he doesn't like bracers at the Hakon gate. He starts singing, and one of the lines in his song is about the trails in the sky, and I went, "Oh, he said it! He said it!"
So I was super stoked about one thing because like Oliver, he came out there and he was like very aggressively bisexual character.
Oh yeah,
like, aggressively.
No hiding it.
And like he's like the shonen hair and his like bard style, and I'm like, okay, he's gonna have the lamest weapon in the game. And then I actually get him in the party for a second, and his weapon is fucking gun. He has a gun. Yeah. That's his weapon, y'all. He has a goddamn revolver.
Yeah, he's got a pistol.
God bless
it's awesome. He is hilarious. Like when you meet him, he hits on Sherazard, and she's not into it. So he's like, all right, I'll take this boy then. And Estelle's like, whoa, wait, what do you mean? She's like, oh, are you telling me that you're one of those guys that likes other boys? And he goes, I just appreciate beauty. I like anything that's beautiful. And then he ends up telling her that she's not, and she's not sexy. Because she's like, well, why didn't you hit on me? And he's like, well, how do I say this? You're lacking sex appeal. And she's like, well, excuse me for not being sexy. It's a hilarious little scene. It really is.
Yeah, I shouldn't like it because it's probably pretty problematic or whatever. But I don't know, man. Like,
it's the way I look at it is it's probably like going to end up being a thing during the game where Estelle and Joshua kind of learn to appreciate him. They learn that that's just part of his character and things like that. That's what I'm hoping for. Is that there's like a learning that that's not a bad thing type thing. Like the way they acted, that it was kind of strange, where they should probably, like, by the end of the game, it'll probably come around to being where it's like they really don't think it's that strange. Or maybe they do, but they accept him and they don't judge him for it. That kind of thing.
Or maybe Joshua falls in love
with
him.
That's another possibility. That's another possibility.
Just kidding. No, you got trapped. You just got tricked into shipping a 16-year-old boy with a full-grown adult. You idiot. You're under arrest.
It's fucking Japanese. Like, what do you... of course. At the end, they're going to be like, actually, Josh is actually 7,000 years old. Yes.
I hate this podcast. Can we go back to talk about horror shows? Do y'all remember when we're talking about Marble Hornets and the Slender Man? That was funny.
Well, you don't want to talk about 8,000-year-old demon girls?
No, because they... No.
Well, I mean, so the only other thing that I wanted to touch.
So then we went to this little town called Ravenview, and like I escorted a guy over the fucking wilds, and he was like, "Hey, here we go. We're in Ravenview now." Then went back home, and I was like, "Oh, I could have done the Ravenview quest like way earlier." I don't know. It's just weird.
I'm trying to remember the Ravenview quest. I don't remember. I remember.
No, it was literally the exact opposite of that, actually. I did the Ravenview quest first because there was like a monster behind
Yeah. I was going to say, that's where I went there for, is that.
Yeah,
I haven't...
but it turns out I could have stopped off in Ravenview to drop that guy.
I haven't done the escort quest yet.
It's fine. I literally sent you a screenshot of it. It's not like it does anything important. Yeah. It just, we'll have to go to Ravenview again later.
Yeah, that's fine, because there's actually there's a recipe in Ravenview that you can't get until you have to go there for that whatever quest you're talking about. And there's a recipe that I want to get because you can use that recipe to make money. So I'm going to do that eventually. A little bit of a little exploity.
Wow, this fucking guy, he's got the capitalism balls.
Yeah, because the ingredients create an item.
Yo, everyone at Patreon deliver some money to this guy so he can turned that into his ingredients.
Yes. The sum of the ingredients is less than what the actual item sells for when you craft it. So you can just buy up a bunch of ingredients, make the thing, sell for profit, repeat. So like say you spend 5,000 to get the ingredients and you make 99 of them, you can sell that for 9,000. You have 4,000 gained. You can do that over and over and over and just gain extra money. And that's just, I'm making numbers up.
So this is just how you live your life. This is how you enjoy playing video games.
When I need new gear, absolutely. When I want an upgrade and I'm about 2,000 miras short, damn right.
Tragic.
The only other thing that
this dude right here.
the only other thing that I wanted to touch on was the music of this game. It's fan-fucking-tastic.
Oh my god, dude, seriously. I've been absolutely loving. I've had music for this game stuck in my head since like 2 weeks ago, since we started doing this game. This music is phenomenal. This game is like literally up there in that same genre as like your, you know, fucking Chrono Triggers and your Final Fantasies and your Dragon Quests. The music is it's just it wires itself in your head. Then one day you're just sitting around, and it's like, where did that come from?
Yeah, the battle song is called Struggle. Sophisticated Fight. Yeah. Sophisticated Fight, and it's composed by the Falcom sound team, JDK, which consists of Hayato Sonata, Wataru Ishibashi, Takahide Murayama, Maiko Hattori, and Yokihiro Jindo. And if I could meet any of those people, I would shake their hand and be like, you did a good fucking job. Now, in the Discord, Eraser Adam said that if we like the music from this game, wait till we get to Cold Steel, which is where this series really got popular over here, I think, was Cold Steel on PS4. Or it might have been PS3, actually, now that I'm thinking about it. But they've since been ported to PC, so of course they're on our list. Fantastic, though. I put the battle theme up there with Persona 5 as far as catchiness. Like, it just gets stuck in my fucking head. It doesn't have lyrics like the Persona 5, you know, has lyrics and things like that, but just the piano work in this game's battle theme is tremendous.
Yeah, the music has stuck with me over the last couple of weeks and has not gone away. Like, this is a really fun, like, the audio, like, I don't know, like, a game that sounds this good, I cannot even give any score less than 7.5 out of 10. Not that I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10, but, like, that's the minimum a game that has this kind of symphonic, beautiful sound.
And on that note, I really don't have anything else to talk about for the game. Next week we'll be doing Phasmophobia with old Jeffy Lube, and Nate, I believe, is going to be joining us for that one as well, so that should be a good episode. And then after that, you know, we're going to be doing the Freebie horror stuff. And then the week...
So Nathan and Jeff are expected to be on that episode, so that will be fucking amazing. Jeff has played one game with the four of us. Me and Nathan had played the game a little bit before with the Tyler and Dave Play Old Games Tadpog group. We are not good at the game, and the game has been highly edited since then. And oh my god, we had a fucking nightmare of a session that was so fucking fun, so weird, so cool of us being ghost hunters. Like, it was so sick.
But in order to hear more about that, tune in next week, because we'll be talking all about that game and what we think of it. Yeah. If you would like to come join our Discord and chat with us about video games, vote for the games that come up on the show, that type of thing, you can go to bit.ly/TSMP Discord, and that is all capitalized. TSMP Discord, all capitalized, all one word. If you want to go to our website, it's bit.ly/The Steam Machine Podcast, and that is each first letter capitalized, like it would be, you know, just proper naming convention. And then, you know, do you want to get the episode early? Do you want to hear us talk a little about some shit beforehand, before we start the actual episode? Do you want to possibly get your name shouted out on the episode? Then you can go over to patreon.com/The Steam Machine Podcast. $1 a week gets you early access to the episodes. You basically get them as soon as I'm done editing them, and I put them up on the internet. So whenever that is for you. And if you donate $10 a month, you will get a shout out in each episode. And I would like to actually give them one more shout out. Nate Sir Cogsworth of 7th of Juniper, Jeff, old Jeffy Lube, Eraser Adam, and DC Smokedown. You guys rock.
Thank you again, Nate, Jeff, Adam, and DC Smokedown. It means 8.
Yeah, absolutely. And then, like, do you want a cool ass shirt? You want a Steam Machine Podcast shirt? You can check out tsmpproductions.threadless.com. I'm gonna start adding some more stuff up there. You can either get shirts with like my album covers and stuff like that on there, or you can get shirts with the Steam Machine logos. Speaking of albums, I just dropped a new album today. Now that I'm thinking about it,
that's right.
So if anybody's interested,
Fallout,
the Fallout Prophecy, yes sir.
Fallout Prophecy.
And there's a funny story behind that, but I'll tell it another time. But I think it's decent. Like, I listened through it multiple times before I released it. You know, putting it together. I like it. I hope other people like it. We'll see how it does. Other than that, I have a recommendation this week. Go check out Mandalore Gaming. Mandelor, like Mandalore. You know, Mandalore Gaming on YouTube. He covers gaming stuff. He picks like random different little games, like Divine Cybermancy. He covered the Thief series. Like, it's just good. He's entertaining as hell. He's funny. That's my rec for this week. And is there anything that I am missing? Oh, one more time. Go check out Eraser Adams' new podcast, Revival and Extinction. I'm about to go listen to that after we're done here, and I'm done editing. I'm excited to hear that, and fucking Spooktober, man. Next week's going to be fun. You got any last words, my good sir?
These following messages have been redacted by the following person who has redacted that message has been redacted.
Take it easy, folks.
Dalton here at the end. I just wanted to throw in real quick that I'm going to end this episode with a song off my new album, The Fallout Prophecy, by Nile the Nightmare, which, hey, that's me. This song is called Jock Buns. You've saved the show again, and I think it'll sound really familiar to most of you. Enjoy, and as always, guys, take it easy.